going on?
How's it going? So I guess we'll be like as sensitive your time as possible. Can you explain the New Horizons kind of tagline that's on the it used to be Orville, now it's Orville.
It's new. The ship got a new look. We have a new place we're airing. We have a new, more expansive kind of storytelling. Sometimes feature length. With everything about the show, Seth wanted to declare the show, all of the things about it that would make it. And it was still the Orville, the same group of characters.
I think, to add on to that, it was sort of like, thanks to also COVID too, we had a bit of a, it's like a little bit of a rebirth and a relaunch, and this was a way to sort of differentiate it, kind of set it apart. And we take a little, advantage of using the Kalon War to sort of like redo the ship, but it's also was a chance to sort of like bring about the new 2.0 version of the Orville. So it wasn't like a long-term plan. It sort of came about as we were doing it, and it actually came from Dana Walden, president of...
Yeah, Dana Walden's idea.
Yeah, Dana Walden's idea. And Seth was into it, so that's how it worked.
How did you get Dolly Parton to guest star?
That's Seth.
That's Seth.
I mean, we were using her songs and seeding her into little story, mentions, but I don't think when we wrote the scene we knew for sure we were going to get her, and thankfully we did.
She was always favorable because of the music, but she actually did get to watch the episode before it aired, and she was a big fan of I believe both the Topa episode and the one she was in. So,
and that story that she tells is a real story that happened to her as a kid.
Yeah.
So one of the things I found interesting about the show is it moves around in tone. It's comedy, it's serious. Is that just organic, or did you plan it out that we're going to have some really serious stuff go down, but it's also kind of a funny take on?
Well, initially it was a lot more emphasis on comedy. We would have even punch-up rooms with comedy writers, and there was a more striking balance between the two, but really Seth was always interested in the dramatic storytelling with the humor as a kind of a frosting on the cake. And that's where the show went, and that's where it very much is. I think the show is what it is. It's its best version of itself this season.
I agree. It continued to, and it even continued to evolve. I mean, obviously it was put on the page by this great man over here, but as we were shooting and as we were editing, the natural tone of it continued to move forward, and sometimes scenes would expand, or we take it the other way. We needed to make this more funny, and we would like punch it up and cut it that sort of way. So it's been an evolution over the past 6 years.
You guys have both become a voice to the fans, because Seth tends to be really busy. You guys have kind of been a connection to people. How did that start, and how does it feel to be kind of always in conversation with people?
It actually started one day. I was working in the edit room, and all of a sudden my phone started blowing up. And it turned out that Seth tweeted, say, hey, if you want to follow Tom, because I just started like doing a little BTS and stuff. And the next thing I know, I got like 1,200 followers just joined. I'm like, what the hell is happening? And it just sort of like evolved over time. I know all the spoilers. I mean, obviously Brandon's out there too, but like, and I'm just a fanboy. I get lucky. Like, I'm still, we're friends now, but it's like, look who I'm sitting next to. I'm sorry, I'm going to do this publicly. I apologize. But, it's like, so I think Seth knew that. He also trusted me to editor, and it just sort of became this thing, and I got to sort of know the fan base, and then, it's also like Seth can't always say something or doesn't want to like, so I can sort of be the easy voice into sort of like brokering that stuff. But I also really enjoy it. That's kind of how that happened.
Has there been any like official, I'll say the subject that you're honoring or parodying, have the official people from that area called and said, hey, we really love this, or kind of copying our stuff, we don't like parody? Has there been any kind of and it just solves it? Because I think it feels like almost like it's organically like that without being.
Never.
No.
And I think Orville's at this point its own thing.
Yeah.
And obviously it's in the grand tradition of, I'd go back to Forbidden Planet, which will predate Star Trek. It's in the grand tradition of that kind of show, but I think we've found our own voice, and nobody's ever given us any trouble at all.
I'd even go back to the original Buck Rogers too, and Flash Gordon too. There's a little bit of DNA in there, and then later on, like your Battlestar Galactica, because I'm a big fan of that. But.
Oh, they had to. So it was during COVID, and they packed up her mountain cabin set and shipped it to Tennessee. They shot her side of the scene, and Havina's side of the scene was shot in Los Angeles. They were never in the same room.
No, they were in the same. Havina came down.
Oh, she went to Tennessee?
There were only four people who went down. It was Seth Passar, Tammy Lane, who's from Howard Berger's group, and Rena. But they didn't have a lot of time because of COVID. So basically, we shot the wide shots and Dolly's side, because that's all we had time for. And then everything was taped out and done and literally to an inch of its life. And then we came back and we shot Rena's close-ups. I mean, I have that stupid Twitter thread which kind of explains it. I'm waiting for the VFX team to actually deal with the AI, because that's even crazier. But I think eventually they're going to do a little thing about it. Oh, thank you. But yeah, it's hard doing this stuff during COVID.
How has the partnership been with your new network, your new service, I guess?
Well, there's a certain continuity because Dana Walden, Seth was working with Dana at Fox for so very long, and she's the boss of Hulu too. It's been very smooth.
Yeah, and the Hulu team's fantastic, but there's some people here that have been with us since season 1. So it's like family and then family plus, but I couldn't, the Hulu marketing team, I can't say enough nice things about them. And I'm not saying that because we're on there, I just they become friends, and their posters and the trailers and all that stuff's been amazing.
Do you have any involvement with the comic book? Last question. Oh, do you have any involvement with the comic book adaptation in terms of mythology canon or any direction there?
That's David Goodman, one of our other writers, writes the comics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really get involved.
Right.
I don't.
No, and Seth did the adaptation of the one we couldn't do that we were, which I can say now that it's out, we were going to shoot in prom, which is part of the reason it got very complicated, because we were going to take advantage of, you've seen it, we were going to take advantage of the World War II setting there.
It's truly an unaired episode.
Yeah.
The script was written and everything.
It was my favorite thing. I'm still bummed, but maybe someday. You never know. Oh my God, that's it. Sorry.
All right, well, I'll start with the first question. Penny, you were 100% pretty much good on the Orville, but I remember you from 24 where you were 100% bad, and every time I watch, I'm like, where's the reversal where you turn bad and kill everybody? So how does that, the preparation for that role, where you're just such a juicy villain, change from this role where you're just a really awesome person?
It all starts from the same place, and that is just playing the reality, what's real, what's there. And I've been so fortunate that on both shows, the writing has just been incredible, and everything is on the page. And so when it's on the page and you can beat it out as an actor and plot it, you can only speak truth. So 24, Penny in real life was raising a teenager, and so that's what you got colored in 24. And on the Orville, I now have a woman and I have a grandbaby. So it's like loving, and I think life catches up, but truly it's in the right.
We're gonna watch this and be like, she wanted to kill me as a kid.
I did.
See Charlie and Isaac paired up for these rescues and on the show. It seemed like you guys maybe were mending some fences for the most recent episode.
Yeah.
Is that a relationship you will continue to explore as the series goes on? And what are your hopes for the relationship between you?
mean, yeah, that's definitely kind of Charlie's first, like, going into this show, into this world, and working with a Kaylon that she's never maybe had to work with before. She definitely is going into it with a very, like, hard heart, and I think that her journey is very much tied in with Isaac, and just the Orville in general, seeing how everyone is very accepting the Topa storyline. Everybody on this ship and how Ed kind of runs his crew is very accepting, and there's a lot of things that she learns along the way that I think kind of turn her head and make her think second about how she accepts Isaac.
Yeah, they're definitely exploring the relationship more in the next couple of episodes.
Yeah.
I feel like actually their dynamic is at the heart of this season. Really, it's about trust, and it's about making up for some mistakes in the past and healing wounds, I think.
Yeah.
When you're playing Isaac, are you like in a costume, or is it something that you kind of voice over your part? Because I don't know how you see.
So I am in the costume.
These lines that this guy says are insanity, just by the way. I think it's just crazy.
Jargon
how much
is one word for it.
lines-
Like a lot of sci-fi jargon. Yeah.
Can you see from there, or are they just kind of like saying, "Stay here, don't hit anybody"?
No, I can see.
Sometimes it malfunctions though, and you can't see, can't hear. There's
No,
some
that
difficulties
always
with
works.
with the costumes
the
sometimes.
anyway, suit, fun. the lights often go. That's the problem. I'd say again, it's playing the truth in the script, because you can't play comedy. You just have to play the truth of the situation, and if the script is funny, then it'll come out.
I think genius actually when I think Seth MacFarlane. I never think funny or that, because if I think funny, I'm going to think of something that he did before, and he knows there was something that he did before that I went, oh, you should never have done that one. So I do think genius, because he has the ability to really put it out there, life stories, human stories, and in our human stories, in our humanity, there are some funny moments, and then there are some raw moments that some people don't want to touch, and he's brave enough to at least touch them in script, and then give that over to us to be able to show that. So in preparation for that, again, it comes from the same place. It comes from the truth of the material.
Last question, or are we good?
I'm good. For the ladies, you guys are kind of representing the new face of sci-fi. It's always known as a boy content, but you guys are part of such a growth of women and so many great things on the show. How does that feel for you guys?
Quickly, I love it because coming from the Trek world, anytime you saw a woman, she was either very bossy or she had to be the sex symbol. On the Orville, we are people who we just happen to be female, and you see us in a three-dimensional way. So I think finally you are seeing women as people. We just happen to be the female face.
I mean, this is my first time in a genre kind of like this, to be honest, and it's really fun. And also, kind of having a storyline where I found out a little bit later in filming that I was in love with Amanda, and having that kind of like backstory in my head was really fun to kind of play. So I was very challenged in this whole realm, and I'm glad to represent something that, maybe we haven't seen before.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Oh my God, that freaked me out.
I know, me too.
I was like,
Love
wait a
it.
minute.
Yeah.
I understand.
Pretty
That's good.
amazing. I
Okay,
love it.
I'm
Love
good.
it, love it.
Okay, I'm here. Like, I thought I was in a dream. Because this is what my dreams look like. I'm just sitting around and oh, okay.
It's very efficient. The thought process being, let's truncate the amount of time these guys are sitting in chairs. Howard Berger is the master of all things special effects, makeup. I find it, and maybe it's a little different for Peter because Peter has a bald head. And it might.
What you trying to say, man?
Your relationship shows.
Throw me on the bus. Off rip. First question. You bald-headed sucker.
No, it might be. Yeah, it might be a little more discomfort for him, but not for me. You know, I just think that it's only 3 pieces, and then painting. Yeah, it's just 3 pieces. Yeah, it looks very intricate.
Okay,
but
Mister.
It's a cowl,
And
and then boom, nose, eyes, nose. Boom,
see you once
and a
every
chin.
2 months.
How long does it take to get in that?
I mean, for me now, because I got Howard Berger, HB does it in an hour 10 for me.
Well, I will say that the longest I've spent in that makeup on one day was 17 hours, and
On set, that's him being on set in it.
like from application to removal. And yeah, like when we first got started, it was like 4 hours because they were trying to figure it out, and then it got down to like an hour and a half because I had to learn how to help the makeup artist apply the makeup. So that meant like I need to flare my nostril at this point and keep my nose flared, my nostril flared for like a good 5 seconds so that the glue will set. And so once it sets, they don't have to like all day, they don't have to keep tacking it down. So like I had to learn how to help the makeup artist put the makeup on. But then I will say that like, I don't know if this is true for you, but I had to keep my ire from wrinkling. Like the moment I started to get like annoyed or upset or whatever, agitated, I feel like I started to itch. And if it started to if that started to snowball, then it became like a really uncomfortable time in the makeup. Because it was a lesson in like keeping it chill, keeping it zen. Like I don't care. Okay, we're gonna do the shot again. Cool, let's do the shot again. I know it's 12 hours in. Cool, let's do the shot again. Because if I start to, I feel like I don't know, some weird cycles, like something was going on inside of the makeup. That if I get upset, my skin, which is like the largest organ on our body, right, is going to have like this reaction that's going to be irritating, and it's a miserable experience. Like, I mean, I got ants trapped in my head one time, and that was real crawling around ants in my head, and that was like some form of fresh hell that I don't wish on anybody, but because we can't, it's sealed up, right? Like the head of and so they open it, which is very science fiction, like, you know what I mean, to let your head, get some cool air. But so they're like, okay, we don't need you, it's lunch break, go to break. And like in June, I feel like LA just gets inundated with like these funky little red ants that are everywhere in your syrup and your toast, whatever. And so I go to my trailer with my head open with popsicle sticks, take a nap. Knock, 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 get up, okay, seal me up. And ants had crawled down, and I walked the set, wait a minute, wait. And so I'm like, and it was probably a good 10, 9, 12 ants in my head that I had to and I can't take this. So we have to have an understanding with the makeup.
But you also have to remember, he spends way more time in it than I do.
I spend a lot of time in that
always,
makeup.
He's there way more than me.
The beard, because I'm just like having to shave. But for a good 9 months, it's just like, and I get there 5 o'clock in the morning. I get in the chair. I know once like the foam rubber pieces are on and it's glued, I'm out. And I wake up and like, this is what happens to you when you fall asleep in a makeup trailer. Like don't ever fall asleep in a makeup trailer, because that's what's going to happen to you. Yeah. You go in looking like a human being, you come out looking like a space pickle.
That's right. That's right. I'm doing this show.
I know, right. That's right. Okay. But yeah, I mean, and it was, get like, a zen place of just like, you're working like with a makeup artist who's creating a sculpture, essentially.
Yeah, every day.
like a consistent sculpture. Every time, every day, and that's like, I'm an artist myself, and like I just appreciate the hell out of that, because and if you don't do it right, you're just gonna have problems the rest of the day.
But I also have to say, man, that Howard Berger is so aware of all of that. So you come in, what do you want?
Right.
With the cappuccino, what do you need? You know, just incredibly attentive to us, just as the person.
As like
not just sit down, shut up, let me get this thing done.
No.
Very much. It's. He's always there. He's always very, very nurturing with me. So it makes it me relax.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was on the way to work one day and I had a car accident. Some woman was like texting and like she hit my car and my baby was in the seat and I came in in the chair and I was just like and like they just like put a hot towel on my face and just like let's just get into like the wax on sort of space of it.
Woosah, baby.
Woosah, and that is like shout out to Howard Berger and the crew of because that's we're working together, right? And he's not like, what, are you okay? It's like, we're gonna come in and we're gonna make this, because if you put the makeup on wrong, it's gonna stay wrong, and like the whole day, and it's not gonna look right, and that's a day that they're gonna have to do reshoots, but it all starts with that. Like that whole thing, and
then
taking
the
it off,
aftercare as well.
Because it's rough on your skin and like the whole thing, and they take care of us. They really took care of us, which is essential.
Yeah, I never had any, no skin issues.
My nose fell off 2 times, but they glued it back on, and it was great. And I had to fluff my nostrils.
Got a better nose than I had before.
Yeah, better. Like.
All right. Thank you guys.